What's up, folks? Welcome back to BrickBucks, where we talk about Lego investing. That is buying Lego sets, holding them while their value increases because they're no longer available after they retire. And today I'm doing a bit of a follow-up to a video that I shot recently which looked at retiring soon Lego sets. We looked at lego.com and figured out which sets were the Lego group officially tagging as retiring soon, and we walked through those sets. I gave my opinion on those as investment opportunities, and today I want to expand on that video a little bit by giving some extra information. Firstly, there has been a change to that list. The US based Shop at Home Retiring Soon website now has 2 sets less than it did when I looked at it a few weeks ago. 2 sets have been removed from the retiring soon list. So we're going to talk about that. And then secondly, I want to give a quick tip to anyone who doesn't know about this. It might be common knowledge to some of you, but I'm sure there are some of you that haven't really thought about doing this. A quick tip as to how you can learn more about retiring soon sets directly from the source. So as we saw when we looked at this list on the US Shop at Home website, there were something like 18 sets when we looked at it a couple weeks ago, and now there are 16. That's not all of the sets that are going to retire at the end of 2021. So what's happening here? What's happening is the Lego group are just not tagging all of the sets as retiring soon. So we need to use other sources in some cases, and I want to share a quick tip to expand on our knowledge about those other sets that are going to retire, but do it with actual Lego group data, right? Not blog data or third-party data, actual Lego group data. So I'm going to walk through how you can think about doing that too. So with that, let's just jump straight into the website here. I'm on lego.com right now, and this is the retiring soon section that we looked at a couple of weeks ago in a video. And one thing I want to point out is that this does look slightly different than what it looked like a couple weeks ago in that video. There are 2 sets that are missing now from this list. The gingerbread house was here before. The gingerbread house has been dropped off of the retiring soon list on lego.com. And also ship in a bottle has also been dropped off of this list. Those are 2 sets that appeared in this list a couple of weeks ago, and they're no longer here. That means that this yellow retiring soon tag right here is no longer applied to the listings on lego.com for those 2 sets. So what does it mean, right? What does it mean that the gingerbread house and the ship in a bottle have been dropped off of the retiring soon list on lego.com? We don't know, right? We do not know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have all of the information. The sources that I use for my decision making have not changed their stance on these sets. The only place that I've seen a change on these 2 sets is right here on the official Lego website. Now, of course, this is one of the best sources for information, because if the Lego group themselves say something is retiring, it definitely means that it's retiring. But the vice versa of that is not exactly true. So if they don't tag a set as retiring, it doesn't mean it's not retiring. There's a lot of sets that they're not tagging here that are going to retire at the end of this year. Now, if they had previously tagged a set and then they remove that tag from the set, does it feel a little bit suspicious? Of course, right? Of course it does. For investors in the gingerbread house and in the ship in a bottle, it can of course be a little concerning to see them remove the tag. But I personally don't think that it means that those sets are not retiring, and I'm not going to look too much into this. So that is my overall stance on the fact that the gingerbread house and the ship in a bottle have been removed from this section on lego.com. My stance is I'm not going to change anything that I'm doing, right? I'm going to ignore it. It isn't really evidence that they're not retiring these sets, because historically they have not been good at maintaining that retiring soon tag on the listings on lego.com. So I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to keep my ear to the ground for any other sources that say anything different about these 2 sets. But from everything that I've heard so far, it is business as usual, and those 2 sets will be retiring. Let's see if that changes. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is something I didn't really touch on in the last video where I looked at this retiring soon section, but it is very related. Now, the Lego group have different markets all around the world, right? Lego is sold all around the world, and they have websites, of course, in different countries. Each country has its own store because pricing and product availability and stock and everything is different, of course, for each market. Now the retiring section on the website is duplicated across those different markets. So we can look at that list in each of the different markets. And historically, when the Lego Group is retiring a set, it will retire it in all of the markets. It usually does not make sense for them to continue to mass produce and mass market a product in certain markets and not in the others. So usually they will retire the same sets across the markets. Now, this is not a rule. This does not mean that they will always retire each set from all of the markets at the same time. Each market usually has different demand for themes, different demand for sets, and it is completely feasible for the Lego Group to continue manufacturing certain sets in certain markets for longer, or to reallocate stock from one market to another market, retire it in the US, for example, and continue to produce it in other markets. This is all totally possible, right? So we always need to remember that that is possible. However, until now, if we look at history and look at retirements, usually we see the effects of retirement within a few months of each other across the different markets. Yes, there could be a few months of something being in stock in the US while it's not in stock anymore in Europe, or vice versa. But usually, historically, if they say they're going to retire a Parisian restaurant in the US, they will also be retiring that set in the other markets. So again, just to reiterate, this is not a rule we can fully depend on, but the majority of time, if we hear something is retiring in another market, we can use that as information for our market, at least as one source of information, cross-reference it with our other sources of information, and make an informed decision on it. Now, what does this mean in practice? Well, on Lego.com, as we've seen here, we just have 16 different sets listed as retiring soon. What if the other markets have a much longer list? What if some of the other markets around the world are much more comprehensive in the list of sets that are retiring soon? And what if we could use that list, cross-reference it with our other sources and our own research, and then make even more informed decisions about the sets that we feel will be retiring based on the fact that they are retiring in other markets around the world? So that is exactly what we can do here, and I'm going to give some examples of this. Now, jumping back into the screen here, we have 16 different listings retiring soon on the Lego.com website. This is the US official shop at home website. We have 16 sets. Now, just to quickly recap what these are, because I did go over them in a video recently, but we have very expensive sets are mostly what's listed here. Roller Coaster, Bugatti, A-Wing, Corner Garage, Upside Down, Aston Martin, London Bus, the Iron Man art set, Dino Fossils, Harley Davidson, and then a handful of key rings and different things. We also have the T-Rex Rampage down here. And again, Gingerbread House and Ship in a Bottle were here before, no longer here now. What if we check the other market sites? Is there a difference? Do we see more sets? So let's give it a shot. So right now I'm going to switch over to the United Kingdom Shop at Home website. And again, it looks the exact same as the US version. But in the URL, you will see the market that you are navigating. And right now I see GB. And if I scroll down, right here you can see 102 results. 102 results. We just had 16 in the US market, and now we have 102. Does that mean that there's 16 sets retiring in the US and 102 retiring in the UK? No, it doesn't. It just means that the UK are better at updating the site. They are better at tagging the listings with this retiring soon banner. And because of that, we can use this information in our decisions, even if we're based in the US market. So we have 102 results on this page. Right off the bat, you see some of the same results, right? We've got the Bugatti, the Roller Coaster, the Upside Down, the Iron Man art, A-Wing, but then we've got the Ocean Exploration ship here. We've got the Rocket Assembly and Transport. We've got the Star Wars Sith art set, the Deep Space Rocket and Launch Control, the Police Station, Resistant ITS Transport. The Harley was on the other one. We've got the Creeper Mine here from Minecraft, the Friends Party Boat, the Mario Toad's Treasure Hunt expansion set. We've got the Townhouse Pet Shop and Cafe. We've got the Elsa's Magical Ice Palace, the Friends Friendship Bus, and we can keep going. I'm not going to be able to go through 102 sets, but let's just do a couple more. We've got the Story of Neon listed here. We've got the Iron Man Hall of Armor, the Vibe City concert. We've got the Bricks set here as well. So it's very different, right? We can see a huge difference here, and there's themes included here that weren't in the US list. So we've got Friends sets, we've got Ninjago sets, Mario sets, a lot more showing up here on the UK list. And we can keep scrolling, and this is a great thing to cross-reference your assumptions, cross-reference the other third-party sources like the Stone Wars lists or the Brickset data, and cross-reference what the community are talking about. Go to one of the other market shop at home websites, official Lego websites, and check certain sets, right? Check if the set that you heard was going to retire is actually on this list, because that might give you an indication that in your market, even if it's not on your list, it is possible that it is retiring. Again, I feel like I need to repeat this a couple times. It doesn't guarantee it, but it is possible. So we've got the Hogwarts Room of Requirement here. We've got the Getaway Truck, the Heart Lake City Hair Salon. We've got the Safari Off-Roader. Just so much more stuff here. We've got Womp's Lava Trouble, which is discounted here on the UK Shop at Home. Duplo sets as well. We've got the Mandalorian Battle Pack is here. So we start to get more certainty about some of these sets now, right? The same benefits that I talked about in my last video when I was looking at the US list, the certainty that it gives us, even though some of it is not new information. If you're in the US, it doesn't give you 100% certainty, because again, this is a different market, but it gives me an extra element of certainty to layer on top of my own research and my other sources. Is that where we stop? No, it's not. We don't end there. Let's go and check another market. Now, as we saw with the UK, we have 102 results. Let's look at Germany now. Let's switch over to the Germany Shop at Home site and look at that retiring list. Is it any different? It looks mostly like it is a lot of the same sets as the UK. Let's try another one. Now we are in the Australia market. So this is Shop at Home for Australia, and right away you see 116 results. So 102 in the UK and 116 here on the Australia site. So again, we can look down through this and see if we spot anything that is different. This Master Your Adventure Maker set, was that on these other ones? I don't think it was. No, that doesn't it could be further down. The other thing to note is that when something is sold out, it gets pushed down to the bottom of the list. So it's only at the top here, or the same order for the stuff that are in stock. But as you can see, we can go down through the list, we can figure out where the differences are, and maybe learn about sets that are being confirmed as retiring from other markets. Now, we've gone from 16 sets on the US site, right, that we have an element of certainty about, 16 sets, to 116, right? We've gained so much knowledge by moving over to the Australia market Lego Shop at Home website, going to the retiring soon section, and just browsing down through what they've got shown there. And with that information, again, we can cross-reference it with our other sources and make more informed buying decisions. Now, as we saw with the Gingerbread House and the Ship in a Bottle, it does not mean that these sets will stay here. They could be changed, the status could be removed, they could get re-released. We always need to be ready for those things. That is why we diversify, that is why we do our due diligence, and we don't put all our eggs in one basket when it comes to Lego investing. But at the same time, this is a useful tool to have in our back pocket when we're making our buying decisions. As you look at this, what do you see? Is there any set that surprises you, that shows up in certain markets and not in others? Let me know in the comments below. And also, if you enjoyed it, I really would appreciate if you could hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. Now, if you want to see my more detailed analysis of the retiring sets in the US market, here's the video right here, so just check that out. I walk through those sets in more detail and share my thoughts on each of the sets as a investment. So check that out. And with that, I'm Shane from brickbucks.net. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.